Welcome to the Ruby UK webinar, What Not to Do on LinkedIn. This is an educational webinar for Ruby UK members being presented by Ruby UK with Ruby UK's content partner, Really LinkedIn. This is Stephanie Beitzel speaking, and I'm a board member of Ruby UK, and I'm also the Ruby UK Member Development Manager, so responsible for our new member development program. If you'd like to connect with me, then please do so via LinkedIn. My name is Steph Beitzel on LinkedIn, STEPHBEITZEL, and the same username for Twitter, Steph Beitzel. And shortly we'll be joined by Mr. Michael Clark, or Mike Clark, who's the Managing Director of Really LinkedIn, Ruby UK's chosen content partners for our LinkedIn program. And if you'd like to connect with Michael Clark, then you can do so. Twitter at Really LinkedIn is his business Twitter. His personal Twitter or his individual Twitter is at Mike Clark without an E 03. And Mike's available on LinkedIn. His name is Mike Clark, again, no E, numeral 3. And if you'd like to follow this on Twitter and include the hashtag, you can certainly do so, hashtag Really LinkedIn. So for those of you who aren't aware or haven't really connected with Ruby UK, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what Ruby UK is all about. So Ruby UK is an extension of the Australian Ruby network set up some years ago by Westpac Bank in Australia. And it's a voluntary initiative which was launched in London in June 2012. And Ruby UK is an aspirational, empowering and welcoming women's network. And we connect professionals and businesses, so corporate employees, government employees, entrepreneurs, business owners, freelancers. It's a very inclusive and welcoming network. And across the board, our objective is to allow women to shine. So as I mentioned, Ruby UK is an extension of Ruby Australia. You can, however, get onto the Ruby Australian website, www.rubyconnection.com.au, which you'll see there on your screen. And you can become a member of Ruby Australia. It's free as it is here in the UK. You can put up a profile on the website and connect with other women both here in the UK and in Australia, because Ruby Connection in Australia, just like here, is all about bringing women together to connect, share and inspire. And here in the UK, we do maintain an Antipodean flavour with our programs, but we have a few unique activities as well. So primarily we have inspiring speaker events, and some of you may well have attended some of Ruby's inspiring events with some well-known speakers. We enjoy healthy activities, so we have great walks through London's parks, which are proving very popular, and we've had a lovely event at the beginning of 2013 at Whole Foods Market. We have engaging online dialogue about our activities and issues relevant to professional business women, and increasingly tips to help you get ahead in your career or business life. And more recently, informative member development programs, which you are currently listening to. So to get in touch with and connect with Ruby UK, first and foremost, you can find us on Facebook. So if you like the Ruby UK page, as you see there on your screen, then you'll be able to stay informed of everything that we're doing. You'll also find our events listed there, and there's a button there just to the right of the likes where you can join our list and also get yourself onto our mailing list. It's a good, quick way to do that. In addition to Facebook, we're on Twitter, so follow us _Ruby UK. You can join the Ruby UK LinkedIn group. Subscribe to the Ruby UK channel, where you'll find videos including our webinar recordings. You may well be watching one now, as well as other interesting videos. And to really get all of the information in one place, you can subscribe to the Ruby UK email list. Simply go onto the link that you see there, http://tinyurl.com/ruby-list. And that way you can fill in your details on our email list sign up form, and you'll be absolutely kept in the loop. So I just want to introduce you to the Ruby UK Member Development Program, which is a new initiative for Ruby. where we've handpicked recognised experts to deliver high quality, relevant, professional content for our Ruby members. And we'll be delivering this via tips and advice on Ruby UK social media, webinars and online recordings. Again, you're enjoying this right now, live seminars and workshops. And we'll be following a quarterly theme. And in the current quarter, we're looking at LinkedIn. So this is all about helping you shine. And certainly we hope that this webinar will assist you. So getting into the content on LinkedIn, why is Ruby UK focusing on LinkedIn firstly? So there are numerous benefits of LinkedIn. If you're not aware of them, here's a few. You can attract promotions, job offers, and speaking opportunities. There are many examples of people having this result with LinkedIn. It's a great way of acquiring referrals, recommendations, and clients. You can find the right contact quickly. In fact, I think Michael will be giving us a great example of that in the upcoming content. You can keep all of your CV information up to date in one place, so you don't need to keep dusting off the CV every time you think you might have an opportunity that you want to put your details forward for. You can promote your events, products, and services, engage high potential staff, team members, or business partners. So it's fantastic for attracting and holding on to great talent. You can check out your suppliers, either your current ones or potential ones, keep tabs on your competition, and of course, stay informed of industry news and trends. So, this is by no means the extensive list. It's actually all we could fit on that page. But there's so many benefits of LinkedIn. If you're in business, it's an absolute must.
So rather than just take our word for it, I'm going to share a testimonial that came to me from a Ruby member just in this last week. So many of you may recognize Sarah Piddington. She is a Ruby UK member. She's attended quite a few Ruby events. And Sarah's testimonial is great because it actually would be relatable for so many people, whether you have your own business, whether you are an employee or someone who's looking for a contract or a job opportunity. Sarah's situation actually crosses all of those, which is why I chose to include it. If you wanted to contact Sarah or just certainly check out her LinkedIn profile, I highly recommend that because she is really using LinkedIn to full advantage. She's on LinkedIn as Sarah Piddington, and you see the name there. So here's what Sarah had to say. LinkedIn has been amazing for my career and business. I receive at least one new business related email from new LinkedIn connections every week. Prospects find me easily because Google picks up on my LinkedIn job title, experience, and activity. And my introducing Sarah Piddington video on LinkedIn means I stand out as a very different health and safety expert. And I can say that from my own experience of seeing Sarah in action. She is very different to the average health and safety person. So it's great that not only does she get her name out there, but she's also able to distinguish herself from the competition. So she says, I highly recommend LinkedIn. It's definitely worth spending time getting your LinkedIn profile right. So I hope that is enough to really inspire you to get up to speed and make the most of LinkedIn. And that's why we're presenting this content for you today. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the experts that we've handpicked to help you with this very important tool. Ruby UK's content partner is an organisation called Really LinkedIn. And Really LinkedIn are the world's first certified LinkedIn training company who are based in continental Europe and here in the UK. And there on your screen, you'll see the founders of Really LinkedIn, Michael Clark on the right, who will be presenting this webinar, and Bert Verdonk, his business partner. And you can contact both of them following the links there on the screen. They have a fantastic Facebook group, which is full of tips. You can ask them questions, troubleshoot, and of course, go onto their website if you wish. I recommend that. There's loads of free content. You can also download daily tips and so on. Really, LinkedIn works with blue chip corporations, governments, entrepreneurs, and professionals. So, specifically, LinkedIn engages them to work with their staff across Europe. And in actual fact, you're soon going to see some books that Really LinkedIn produce, that LinkedIn buy and give to their employees. Every single new employee joining their organization across Europe receives the books from Really LinkedIn. Some of the other organisations that they work with, and this is just a tip of the iceberg, PwC, Siemens, KPMG, Virgin, Royal Mail, and many, many more. So I've just picked a few big names out there that are known here, but there's so many, and you'll see all of those names on the Really LinkedIn website. So we're in great hands. And Really LinkedIn's also prolific in terms of delivering fantastic content, a lot of which is available free to really get people using this tool properly. But you'll later on in this webinar, I'll be giving you an opportunity to get hold of the How to Really Use LinkedIn book, which you see there on the screen, which is a bestseller on Amazon for $14.99. It's in its second edition. It's 53 pages. It's absolute chock full of great content and tips. I recommend it, and you'll have an opportunity to get hold of that free of charge later on in this webinar. And more recently, Bert Verdonk has been involved in putting together the Little LinkedIn for Dummies. He produced the content, having been approached by the publisher Pearson, and Pearson have test marketing this edition in continental Europe. So you'll see there it's written in Dutch, but soon will be seen across Europe in English. So we definitely are working with the right people, the go-to people for LinkedIn. So, without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Mr. Michael Clark, who's the Managing Director for Really LinkedIn, and is going to be presenting this webinar for you on what not to do on LinkedIn. So, we're going to see some great examples of what not to do, and then some tips on what to do. And I'll be popping in and out of the webinar to give you some other opportunities to further your knowledge on LinkedIn. So, over to you, Mike.
All right, well, let's roll because there's lots of stuff that we want to cover today. Thanks for the very warm introduction there, Steph. As Stephanie mentioned, our company is the world's first certified LinkedIn training company. We work with very large household blue chip corporate organizations across Europe, here in the UK, and now much more internationally as well. And what we do is we show people and organizations how to use LinkedIn in a commercial sense. So what we're going to be covering today is really looking at, why do you want to use LinkedIn in the first place? What are some of the common mistakes people make, some of the faux pas, as well as some of the recommendation flops. And I'm going to go through that relatively quickly, guys, so that we do have time for question and answer at the end. So if you can please just keep a list of any questions that come up, and then we will move into that, all right? So the first question I have for you is just the question, and if you're listening to the recording, or if you're listening live, the first question I have for you is, how has business changed over the past 20 years? And it's an interesting question, because this comes back to the original point on the agenda, which is why LinkedIn? What's the purpose? What's the point? And the only thing I want to really highlight here, which I'll highlight throughout this session, is that the way that we did business 20 years ago, pre-internet, versus now is completely different. Think about pre-internet. We didn't have two-way conversations. People weren't used to searching and Googling to find information about products, services, and even people before they met them or before they were to buy something. And so now the way that we're doing business and the habits that we now have to do business have completely changed. And we're used to searching, we're used to looking things up, you look to reading requests and and reviews and so on before we actually buy something or before we even meet people. And so we'll cover that over the next half an hour or so that we have together. But I just wanted to start off by getting you to think about this question, because this is fundamental to understanding why should you be on LinkedIn and why should you be using it in the first place. All right. But some of the things, what I want to cover is looking at what is LinkedIn and what is it not. Well, one of the things LinkedIn is that it is the world's largest professional network online platform. And so what that means is that it's not Facebook, it's not a social platform, although there is some social dialogue that does occur on there sometimes. Primarily it is a professional platform. And unlike Facebook, that has kids and seniors and people who are out of work and all walks of life on there, LinkedIn is purely just for the professional market, from small business owners right through to blue chip organizations, and it's expanding its reach more and more into professions like the medical professions, to charitable organizations, and it's really sort of extending its reach even into the third sector and into the government departments as well. And so the question I have for you is, what is the one thing that makes LinkedIn so powerful? And to answer that question, I'm actually going to move into the next slide, which is why LinkedIn in the first place. Because the thing that makes LinkedIn so powerful is that it will show you how you're connected to other people who are outside of your first degree network. And what I mean first degree is, so if I know someone, so for example, Stephanie and I know each other and we are in our first degree. If I haven't met you yet, well, then you would be in my second degree because I know Stephanie and Stephanie knows you, but I don't know you. And so what happens is that by being able to tap into the second degree network, second and third degree, LinkedIn is a third degree platform, meaning that LinkedIn will show how you're connected to people who are in degree. And this makes it an amazing, powerful tool because it allows you to become much more strategic and allows you to become much more developing in terms of how you want to grow either your business or your career. And so the first question I got for you is, how many people do you think are on LinkedIn? And if you think that, just maybe pose a couple of questions, jot them down. But the correct answer is there's 225 million professional users. There's no other platform out there that competes on a global level in a professional sense. The closest one would probably be Zing, which is a German-based platform, and again, it's really sort of didn't grow outside much of Germany, so it's really just it is Germany-centric. And the phenomenal thing about LinkedIn, though, and this growth, is that it was founded in 2003, and then it took 8 years to get to 110 million users. And then, so in 8 years, it's a pretty good growth. However, in the next 2 years, it's doubled in size. It's actually doubled in growth in literally 2 years since its IPO in May 2011, which is phenomenal growth. Currently, I think it's 4 to 6 people are joining LinkedIn every second at the moment, setting up a profile, which means for you as a professional, there's massive opportunity in there for you. Here in the UK, you'll notice that it's gone from literally about this time last year, there's probably about 9 million users, just under 10, and it's gone to over 12 million users as of a couple months ago. It's probably close to 13 million users now, which means that if you're a professional, whether you're looking to use this for a business and marketing and sales perspective, as I saw some people are, or if you're looking to develop your career, then there's a massive amount of ability to tap into people inside that network. And particularly because LinkedIn shows you how you're connected, it'll give you great opportunities to do so. So, I just really wanted to start with that, and then I also wanted to lead into some of the fundamental principles that really drive LinkedIn. And there's a number of them. I'm not going to have time to cover all of them today. During the training workshops we're looking to do with Ruby and the network, we'll share a lot more content, but this is sort of just touching the tip of the iceberg, really. But I wanted to highlight some of the key things for you. And one of the key principles in this new era of business that we find ourselves in is the know, like, and trust. And there's a world-renowned networking expert, Bob Burke, who says, all things being equal, people do business with and refer business to people they know, like, and trust. And this is the way business has always been done. If you think about if you wanted to get a renovation on your house, then you would typically ask your friends, your colleagues, the people that you know in your area, so can you recommend anyone? And that's how business has always been done over the years, through referrals and recommendations. And LinkedIn really is a tool that allows you to accelerate that and really enhance that growth. But you have to build your know, like, and trust factor. And because of the online mediums to be able to connect and engage with people from all over the world in a highly leveraged way, such as sharing a status update and putting that update out to your network of 500 or 1,000 people, straight away you can start to build that know, like, and trust factor without actually physically meeting people. So that when you ask for introductions, when you ask your boss or maybe your senior person for a recommendation for the next promotion you're after, then you can really enhance your image without even spending time meeting with individuals, which is a really important component. What you're about to see in a second is an example of a client of ours who was using what I'd call traditional business techniques, and then shortly after doing training with us, we teach them some lead generation marketing strategies, and literally in between the first and second session, he came back to the second session and said, listen, I've applied some of your proactive strategies, and this is what we teach with LinkedIn, is passive, active, and proactive strategies. And we'll show you some mainly passive strategies. Passive strategies are really about updating your profile, making sure that's spot on. But he started applying some proactive strategies, and as a result of that, was able to find himself a client worth £500,000, we do £1 million challenge competitions with our client because what we teach works. And mainly we work with everyone from HR recruitment to individuals trying to progress their careers through to sales and marketing teams inside corporations. And really, each LinkedIn is so multifaceted. And so one of the things that we see across the board, no matter who we're dealing with, there's a common mistake that people make. Often the biggest mistake people make is they use LinkedIn as a passive billboard. And as you're going to see very soon, is that even when they use it as a passive billboard, it's actually not even that good a passive billboard. It lacks the information. So when people find them, they're not impressed and they're less inclined, or they're less likely to want to engage with that person. So what we teach people how to do is how to get that passive side in place, a really hot, effective, slick-looking profile. When I say slick, I mean in the context of the intent that it's built for. Everybody's profile is slightly different. There is no one size fits all. You always have to be asking yourself, what is the intention of me being on LinkedIn? What is my objective? What is my outcome? And your profile should reflect that. So don't just go out there modeling and copying anyone's profile. Make sure you ask yourself those questions. But once we move beyond passive strategies, we look at proactive ways. So if you're looking to progress your career, connecting with people who can help you facilitate that, joining groups and communities that can help you do that, or if you're looking to generate more business, there's over 10 different lead generation exercises we teach people how to use. That's what our previous client that I just shared with you used, is one of those techniques. And so this is a big shift for people because a lot of times people just join LinkedIn because they're bombarded with introductions. You might be able to relate with that. But now there's a big shift because people are realizing they can help you to save time and increase your results in a matter. And literally, I'll share with you one quick example actually when I talk about save time. There's we're dealing with quite a few charities at the moment and in talks with more and more. And there's a CEO of a major charity, which you would know, household name charity. And I was talking to him. He'd been searching for the managing director of Amazon for about a month. And he had not gotten his name or hadn't gotten any closer to it. Spent quite a few hours doing this. Within a matter of seconds, I showed him how to find the managing director of Amazon. And so that straight away blew his mind. But the thing is, again, what makes LinkedIn so powerful is it showed him who he was connected to, and one of his best friends, who he hangs out with quite a bit, actually was connected to the MD of Amazon. Absolutely blew his mind. In terms of, think about that, took a month searching, he got nowhere. Within 20 seconds, he was able to get this insight of information. Very powerful. So moving on though, some of the passive things we're going to cover, because this is where we really need to start. And when we work with people, there's no point doing proactive and active strategies until we cover the basics. So some of the classic faux pas people make is with their LinkedIn profile picture. So I'll put some of these up now. You'll see this guy on here. I mean, is this the most attractive way to be found? If someone's looking to find you and all of a sudden they see you're almost on fire, is that the sort of image you want to be leaving with someone? Likewise, this lady, Jane. Jane is in a bubble bath here, okay? That might be an appropriate photo if she's trying to seduce her husband, okay, or partner, that's great, or a dating site. But if you're about to jump into a meeting and all of a sudden you're about to jump into that meeting and an executive pulls that photo up and then you sit down next to them, they're about to sign a deal or look for you for a promotion, is that the photo you want them seeing? And that's a question you've got to ask. Because this is the important thing to understand, folks, is that people are now reaching out and making decisions about whether they do business or engage or connect with you before they've even met you. They're now trained in this new way of new habits of doing business. Likewise, Tanya here. I mean, okay, if she might be quite spiritual, or this might be in line with her productions that she does, but again, is this going to enhance her image in the eyes of the ideal type of people she wants to do business with? You know, in most cases, it's probably no. All right. Another example here of Michael, who you know is a photo of a monkey and a gun. Okay, what sort of impressions is that going to leave on people straight away? And you know, again, if you're about to meet people, and this is what happens a lot of times, you might have a meeting with someone, they don't even know you yet, and they're looking to identify you in a crowd of people that are walking in and out of a meeting room. And if you have a photo of yourself as a monkey, okay, then someone's going to walk in the room, you might be looking for each other and you're not able to find each other. And again, it's these first impression, folks, are so critical. And these elements that we're going to share with you today are the first impressions people have. All right, and so it's so important to get it right, because if you get it wrong, the worst case scenario is people will just tune off and not want to do business with you straight away. All right, if that's extreme, and a lesser extent, they'll just have a less impression of you, and straight away, instead of starting a meeting or an appointment on your best foot forward, you're starting with your wrong foot forward. A couple more examples I'll share with you. I'll quickly flick through these just so we have a bit of time. I'll put them all up on the slide. Caitlin here, as you can't even see her face. She's, again, that's a nice social picture perhaps, but is that the best photo you want straight up? Zach to the right is a yellow square. You're not giving yourself any opportunity to build a. Sarah here, brilliant. If she's a family person, I respect that. I'm a family man myself. However, is that going to build rapport and respect with the people you want to do business with? And Jeremy, Salman, well, again, is this the first impression? Might be sort of reflective of the character, but who knows? Now I'm going to share with you some examples of photos that you do want to have here, okay? And she's very smart, she's professional, she's smiling. We've got Rob Brown. Notice how he's got the white background, so it seems like he blends in very easily. Notice they're all headshots. Notice they're quite clear, not full body shots as well. And this is the thing you want to keep in mind, is to have these elements just to be very clear and concise, smiling, and make it clear and obvious for people to see you. The one that we'll show on the bottom right here with Marcel is that, that company, a lot of times you get companies saying, oh, how do we keep a brand theme inside of LinkedIn? Maybe from a marketing perspective, that's important for you. You can see with LinkedIn up here with John, he's done that. But Marcel and their organization, what they've done, this is a client of ours actually in Europe, is that they've developed these photos with the sort of consistent coloring of their business in the background. But again, they're all headshot photos, professional photos, looking the part, and incorporating a bit of their brand. So what I'm going to share now with you is just 5 quick tips for maintaining a professional profile picture. Number one, you want to make sure that you're not having drinks, you're not on vacation or anything like that. Okay, make sure it's a headshot. Don't be far off in the distance. Think about people who are online or maybe on their smartphone. All right, and if a lot of people don't have great eyesight, so if they're on a smartphone and you're in a distance, the size of your image shows up as being really small, which means it's very difficult. So again, you're making it more challenging for people to connect with you. Relax, smile, obviously smile. You're not being charged for anything, so have some fun with it. Make sure the background's neutral. You might want to look at branding, as we mentioned before, and make sure it's up to date. If you have a haircut that's different, change your photo update. If you have change the color of your hair, if you change that frequently, make sure it's relevant. Otherwise, that can be quite an interesting one. A lot of times people might be blonde and then all of a sudden being brunette, and all of a sudden it's a big change.
Great, Mike. Well, thank you very much for that. Seeing how important it is to get the great profile and profile photo right for your passive LinkedIn strategy is a great opportunity for me to let you know about our Ruby UK member development event, which is coming up this week on Thursday, the 25th of July 2013. It's an evening event from 6:30 till 8:30 in central London. And it's the How to Really Use LinkedIn seminar, a 2-hour evening seminar. Now, one thing I want to let you know is that we are making a lot of fantastic content available to you free or at a very reduced price because of the relationship that Ruby is establishing with these experts. And this is a great example, and I hope you're in a position to take advantage of it. This seminar is regularly offered by Really LinkedIn to its corporate clients who pay £197 per person to attend this 2-hour workshop. It's really focused, it's fantastic. However, for Ruby, I'm really pleased to let you know that we're able to offer it to you for just £30 per person. And this includes a free book, so How to Really Use LinkedIn, which you see there, which is a bestseller for $14.99, so it's a fantastic deal. And to help you make sure you get those fantastic profile shots sorted out, you'll be in a chance to win one of 5 professional headshots, which are worth £79 from James Ballerini Photography. So you'll receive a free book and a chance to win one of 5 headshots from James Ballerini. So really encourage you to register now for the event. You'll see there that the registration link is http://tinyurl.com/tinyurl.com/PJVUTZO. And what are we covering? So it's going to be the 3 ways to find the right people on LinkedIn, which is essential. 5 top tips for an attractive personal and company profile. So there is structure to this thing. We will touch on this further in this webinar. Mike will be giving you some tips, but the real architecture of what makes a great profile for both your personal and organizational branding. How the LinkedIn profile matrix can help you, and this is something that Bert Verdonk has crafted, which is a great reference tool. How to tap into the power of LinkedIn groups. Maybe you're one of those people, you've joined a few groups and you're not too sure how to really utilize them to advantage. So it's why join a group in the first place, and sometimes it's not worth joining certain groups, so we'll look at that. How to find the right groups and how to use them for branding and prospecting. So it's all about what your objective is and how to make sure the group fulfills that for you. It's also, there's 3 very important LinkedIn characteristics that can make or break your efforts on LinkedIn. And we will be going through that. So Michael will be telling you all about that to make sure that you don't make this blunder yourself. So again, the member development event is Thursday, the 25th of July, 2013, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. in central London. And to register for the seminar, it's http://tinyurl.com/pjvutzo. And the details again, instead of paying $197 per person, which is what this seminar is normally charged at in corporate in-house rates, you as a Ruby member get to pay just £30. You'll receive the free LinkedIn book worth $14.99 and a chance to win one of 5 professional headshots worth £79 from James Ballerini Photography. So I hope we'll be seeing you there. And there's the link again to register, and we'll make sure that you receive an email to confirm the details as well. So back to you, Mike, for the rest of the webinar, and I'll be seeing you towards the end just to let you know a little bit more about what's coming up next and to say goodbye. So the rest of the webinar, over to you, Mike. Thanks.
Let's keep going on with some of this content. I'll mention this again at the end of the presentation, the offer that is. But I wanted to let you know about what's in a name in terms of some of the mistakes people make when it comes to just even getting their name right on their profile. You look at this example here, it's actually illegal. When I say illegal, it's against the LinkedIn regulations that you've got to be an individual on LinkedIn. You cannot be a company. You cannot set up an account and have it as a company account. You can set up a company profile, okay, but through your individual account. So there's completely separate areas. So in your individual account, you have to display your name. So if you don't have your name in there, that's the one quick way that LinkedIn will actually ban you once they find out about situations like this. A couple of faux pas people make with their name is that this is an example of someone who's from Korea, I believe, and so if this person is only looking to do business in Korea, then that might be effective. However, if they're looking to do business outside of Korea, then no one else will be able to find them unless they type in Korean language. So again, a lot about your profile is about just setting it up so you make it easy for people to find you. In this situation, not many people are going to find them. And think about your own research and what you do yourself. How frustrating is it when you try and find someone and you're not able to find them easily? You have to dig around. Instead of spending 10, 20 seconds to find them, you have to do some more advanced searches. And most people don't even know about them, so they won't even use them. In this example here, this is someone who actually has their name back to front. So their last name is their first name and their first name is their last name. So this is a surefire way of not being found. We often do, whenever we do our events, we profile the people before we get in the room, and it's amazing the number of people that have their names back to front or they they've misspelt their name or they use an abbreviation of their name, and that just creates issues. So these are sort of things that is very common, but it's just the basics. If you don't have the basics right, then there's no point in going to advanced levels. But again, this is important because unless you get this right, people won't find you. Okay. So another thing is just making sure that when you fill out your profile, that you fill it out with enough information so people can get to know who you are and what you're about. And here you'll see that this example of Joyce, she's got very limited information, and by not having much information in there, she's not going to be found. So the experience and expertise that she has will not be exemplified. And likewise, so she's looking for a new career, a new opportunity. all the keywords that you put in there, from your headline through to your summary, your experience, your background, those are words that people that can be searchable online. So when someone types in through Google or through LinkedIn, they can type in those words and they can either find you, or if they don't find you, the important question to ask is, what will they find? And the answer is, they'll find someone else. So instead of you being the ideal type of candidate or prospect to someone, they will find someone else. And here's an example which you see less and less of, but what's happened is that people think that for keyword searches, they think they just type in Google, SEO, that they'll just come up high on the Google rankings. What happens is that, yes, they do come up high. However, once the crawlers on LinkedIn and Google realize what's being done here, they'll actually that'll have the opposite effect. They'll be put to the bottom. So, so we do not recommend having just lists and lists of the same words again and again to try and increase your Google ranking. Okay. Likewise, this example that I'm showing you here is someone who is, is being quite sarcastic. So it starts off, the first paragraph is fine, that the owner and vice presidents of sales, but then from the third paragraph down, he just gets quite sarcastic. My ultimate goal is to be world domination. Speciality is exceptionally good with sarcastic, smart-ass remarks, blah, 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 right? So imagine, again, that this person's about to sit down and have a contract with someone. They look for credible people to do business with, and all of a sudden they jump on their profile and they read that. And that's the thing they read before they get into business with them. It's just not how you want to be found. And, this is an example of a client of ours, Simon, and, what we teach often is that you want to break down your summary of your profile into 3 parts. The first part is about your organization. Second part is about your role inside the organization. So what do you do? And the third part down the bottom is about you yourself. Who are you? It might be statements, it might be words that Simon's used here, it might be a couple of sentences. But you want to, although it is a professional network, make sure you set your profile up so people get to know a bit about you, your personal side. So it's professional and a hint of personality in there as well. And people will connect and engage with you on that. And we cover this quite a bit in the training. I don't have enough time to do it now, unfortunately, but I'm happy to answer all your questions if you've got some at the end about this. When it comes to recommendations, there's good ways to do it, there's bad ways to do it. Here's a recommendation that was given for Sophie, which is saying that, I have no idea why he was hired, and he doesn't have a clue what he's talking about, and blah, blah, blah. So there's some very negative things said about this person. So again, you want to if you have the ability to control those recommendations, you either say, yes, I want them on there, or no, I don't. So if you do get a recommendation from someone, then make sure it says that's stuff that's going to be inclining people to engage with you as opposed to disengaging with them. This is a really good example of a good recommendation. They're saying that they have a good aptitude for aesthetics and understanding clients. He pays close attention. He doesn't create something that is visually appealing, but also make sure that it reflects the values of a website. So obviously there's a web designer. So if you're looking for this type of person, if a prospect is looking to do business with you, that's going to engage with them and say, wow, that's the type of person I want to be working on my website. And they're the type of recommendations you want to be having on LinkedIn. All right. Endorsements is an interesting one. There might be, because, there's a lot of skills and a lot of people go around misusing endorsements. They give endorsements to people without the right credibility or without actually knowing they have the skills. But the main thing I want to highlight here is just make sure you have skills you want to be endorsed, such as dangerous drugs. In a professional sense, is that something you want to be known for, have a skill set in? Pole dancing as well is, again, it might be something you have a fetish for at home, which is great, fantastic, but it's not going to win you too much favors in the boardroom, I don't think, or in your colleagues. If they're looking at that, they see that all of a sudden it becomes a bit of a internal joke between people, which is something, again, from a professional sense you don't want. But when endorsements are used in the right way, it really gives you the ability to to build rapport. And this person here, in entrepreneurship training, social media coaching, business networking. If I go to this and I see all of a sudden over 90 plus people, 60, 50, 40 people are endorsing them for these skills, straight away it says to you, okay, this person is serious about what they're doing and they have a strong credibility in that area. So endorsements can be used, when used appropriately in the right way. And just before we get into question time, folks, I will quickly cover invitations. There's a wrong way to do it at the bottom here. Peter, most people just reach out to people. They don't give them the opportunity to to engage with them or let them know why they're connecting. If you're going to send an invitation, reach out to someone. This is the first time you're going to connect with them. Let them know why you're connecting, as Rick and Chase have done here. Let them know why you're reaching out. And, that's a great way to start the relationship. A classic case, 95 people just do what Peter's done at the bottom here, and it does not build any credibility or rapport. And a lot of times I ask myself, why do you want to meet and do business with us? All right. Is there any questions that have come through, Steph?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, there
great.
are two. There's one that's just Emma B has just put up, which is, would you recommend
Yep.
premium LinkedIn? Which is a great question.
Ah,
And I'll tell you the other one, which was posted ahead of the webinar.
yep.
Is there in terms of putting very detailed CV information up, are there any implications for doing this with your current employer?
Okay, good questions. Good
Great
questions.
question.
So
So there's just
let
the
me
two.
answer. Okay, great. Well, let me answer the second one first. And the answer to that question, I'm not sure who posed that. I remember seeing it though before I left, before I jumped on here though, is that I mean, yes, you want to make sure you exemplify yourself as much as possible. Certain companies though are a bit cautious about this though, because they people who live in a fearful mindset around LinkedIn. There are HR directors and organizations who have a fear around this, because if you put on your best information on LinkedIn, then all of a sudden you could be headhunted. So I personally feel that you should be exemplifying yourself in your credentials, and not just your CV in terms of who you've worked for, etc., and what you've done there, but projects you've been involved in. And I think that there's two different ways to look at it. From the individual who's got the profile of that nature fleshed out with all that information, then yeah, you may find that you get more job opportunities presented to you. But and so that's one side. And if nothing else, you'll build really good credibility as you go through the process, and before you meet with people, you will start with your front foot forward. From the employer side, so maybe the HR director might be a bit fearful around this. I would say that my response to that is that you've got to make sure that you create the right environment for your team. And if you create the right environment whereby people are engaged, they're happy, you're letting them share their results on LinkedIn, so on, and you may lose a few staff members, but you'll gain so much more. There's a case study, a white paper we've done of Deloitte's, where Deloitte has embraced social media, and as a result, they've now gained huge market share over their top 4 competitors, and they're now #1 recruiter of choice in Australia. And we've actually got a very interesting white paper document about that, which we give away for free for people who are in the HR fields, because the game of recruitment has changed significantly. And I believe that organizations that adapt, and instead of being fearful about LinkedIn and embrace it, they stand to gain a lot more than what they lose, and they'll attract a lot more top talent as opposed to having it taken away from them. So I hope that answers. There's a couple different levels to that answer, but I hope that answers it for you. And the second question about premium LinkedIn, my first response is that it comes down to the level and the role in your organization. So if you're sitting in a backseat admin role, then it's not necessarily in a proactive level in terms of you going out there and you're attracting clients or marketing or branding your organization, then it could be worthwhile. However, the caveat around that is that learn the platform first. You can still do so much with a free profile that most people think you need to do. They upgrade because they think they need to upgrade, thinking that I won't be able to do searches and everything, and won't be able to find lists of prospects. All the strategies we teach are with a free profile. I wanted to highlight that. It's with a free profile, not with a paid for profile. And you can do 80% of what you can do with a free profile, and it's really only once you start maximizing that level that I would then say it's relevant for you to go for the paid for profiles and the premium level, okay? So make sure you use the tool first and really start maximizing your usage on it. And then the second thing is, once you're at that level, and then you really know how to use it using all the advanced functionalities, advanced searches, and so on, then, and you're competent at that, then you can look to upgrade, because then you'll know where you need to maximize it, okay? But I hope that's useful for your reply. And there are now in the premium level, there's, for marketing, sales, and recruitment, there's 3 different profiles you can get. So depending on the role in your company as well. If you're looking for career advancement, though, I wouldn't say it's relevant unless you need it for a very particular reason. But if it's just for career development, I'd say no. But for sales, marketing, recruitment, then possibly. But once you're at the competent level. Thank you very much for having me, Ruby and Stephanie. I really appreciate it, and had a lot of fun. And I look forward to meeting you on the 25th to really support you with using LinkedIn to make it more effective and productive in your life, because it will save you time and make you money if that's your objective, or enhance your career if that's your objective. We can show you how to do that. So look forward to working with you to do so.
Great. Well, thank you again, Mike. That's fantastic, all of those tips and information. And I just wanted to recap on our next member development event. So you've obviously seen a lot of fantastic content today. There's only so much we can cover in a 45-minute webinar. And clearly it's a tool that has enormous benefit for people in business life, whether you're corporate, work for a mid-stage business, have your own business, you're a freelance contractor. We've seen great examples of that. So to make sure you get the information right and get going on this on good footing, we really encourage you to come along and join us on Thursday, the 25th of July 2013 for our evening 2-hour workshop starting at 6:30 p.m. in central London. How to really use LinkedIn seminar, which is being delivered by Really LinkedIn by Michael Clark. And to remind you that the corporate price normally for this event is £197 per person, which is what Really LinkedIn charges a corporate to go in and deliver it to their teams. But the very same content will be available to you, is available now to Ruby UK members for just £30 each, which is just a fantastic saving. And I really want to thank Really LinkedIn for making that available. And don't forget, you will receive the free book, How to Really Use LinkedIn, which is a bestseller at $14.99 on Amazon. And you'll also be in the chance to win one of 5 professional headshots worth £79 each from James Ballerini Photography. So again, there is your registration link. We really encourage you to join and be a part of this Ruby UK member development event. And we certainly hope to see you. And just to recap there, the content is going to be 3 ways to find the right people on LinkedIn, 5 top tips for an attractive personal and company profile, how the LinkedIn profile matrix can help you, and how to tap into the power of LinkedIn groups. So why to join a group, and I'm going to be looking at this. I sometimes find I get a little bit lost at sea with groups, I have to say. So why join a group, how to find the best groups for you according to your objectives, and how to use them effectively for branding and prospecting. And finally, the 3 important LinkedIn characteristics that can make or break your offer. So today's session, we've only had time to give you 30 minutes of very quick content. I hope you found it useful. But to really get going on this and make the most of your opportunities on LinkedIn, we really invite you to register now for the seminar at the link there and come along to the Ruby UK member development event, how to really use LinkedIn, next Thursday, the 25th of July from 6:30 to 8:30. So I would like to take this opportunity to say thank you very much for Michael Clark for providing us with a great session today. I hope you've got a lot out of it. Of course, if you've got other questions, you're more than welcome to send them to either myself or to Michael and directly to Really LinkedIn. And we encourage you to continue the conversation. And just to remind you that if you want to connect with us here at Ruby UK, we will be focusing more on LinkedIn as the time goes on. And we certainly invite you to find us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, join us on LinkedIn, watch us on YouTube, and subscribe to the Ruby UK email list via the link you see there on your screen. That way we can keep you informed of absolutely everything. And we look forward to seeing you again soon. So thank you very much for joining us.